Hello, and welcome to a look at Monty Python's Flying Circus for the Commodore 64, a game that was developed by Core Design and released by Virgin. Now, you would probably wonder what the plot for this particular game is, and if you don't wonder, well, can't help you, I'm going to tell you anyway. Someone has lost his mind. More specifically, Mr. D.P. Gumby's brain decided to split into 4 pieces because of cramped living spaces or something like that. And the 4 pieces has been found by a group of insidious individuals who have told Mr. Gumby that they want 16 tins of spam for each brain piece. So of course Mr. Gumby goes out and tries to acquire the said cans of spam in order to get his mind returned to him. So off he trots into the world of the bizarre, armed with an unlimited amount of fish that he can toss at enemies and objects in order to break either the enemies or the objects and hopefully find various different items, and ideally of course the cans, tins, whatever you call them, of spam. Because not all the levels are of an equal nature, Mr. Gumby is thankfully adaptable enough that he can change form into whatever the level he's entering requires. So he's either going to be in normal form when such is needed, or turning into various other creatures, like in the first level, very shortly into the level you will turn into a fish, so you can swim. Yeah, that's useful, I suppose. As he moves along, there will be enemies, fixed spawn enemies, and infinitely respawning enemies, and gun emplacement like enemies that he can defeat. There will also be an awful lot of blocks that he can break. Some of them will contain food, which will restore his health, and some of them will contain spam, or cans, tins, things of spam, and some of them, or most of them, will contain nothing, which are for the course. Swinging fish randomly willy-nilly around can sometimes trigger bonus objects and bonus level access and things like that, which is a cute little funky thing that is thankfully not something that's been used in countless other games. No, it's a very unique feature. If it sounds like that I'm treading waters here a bit, it's because I am. The thing is, when it comes to the gameplay and the execution of the gameplay, there's not an awful lot to talk about with this game. So you know what, let's just head to the technical side of things. From a graphical point of view, the graphics are very heavily inspired by Terry Gilliam's art, which was used in the TV show, of course. And for me personally, it's an art form that I can accept, but I don't particularly find enjoyable. And the Commodore 64 rendition of said art is a bit tame. And as I said, because I don't enjoy it to begin with, I find it very, very hard to say anything particularly positive about it. Things don't look bad, but yeah, I mean, if you don't like coffee, I can't convince you to drink coffee, and I don't like this art, so I'm sorry, I don't know what to say about it. Not bad, I think, will be my gentlest phrasing. What is bad, though, is the movement of said graphics. The screen is scrolling in a very, very unpleasant, chunky, jumpy kind of way that I find most unwelcome. Sound effects are somewhat inspired by the TV series, show, thing, whatever, and some of them work and some of them don't. Bit basic, nothing extraordinary, nothing exciting. It is what it is. The music is a rendition of the Monty Python's theme tune, and while the rendition is perfectly fine, when you play this game with music, you hear a constant loop of that theme, and it doesn't take many 2 minutes before it gets incredibly old and rather boring, to say the least. The controls are par for the course. Left, right, up, down will do those kind of things, and the fire button will be used to toss a fish. While the controls are responsive enough as such, because of the general sluggishness of the graphical nature of the game, it all feels a bit heavy. Now, Monty Python was a group of comedians that in the late 60s, early 70s were producing gags and sketches and things like that that would make a modern day political correctness ambassador get a simultaneous hemorrhage, heart attack, stroke, and kidney failure if they were to listen to any of it. It was borderlining, it was pushing boundaries, and it was intended to do so. Humor, of course, like any other thing, is a question of personal taste, and I think it's fair to say that there were just about as many people that was embracing Monty Python's humor as there were people either not getting it or finding it outright unwelcome, to use a gentle phrase. Their humor was most assuredly bizarre and wacky and quite a bit silly, but by and large Monty Python managed to balance perfectly between what is silly and what is stupid, because there's a very fine balance between the two. And the big question though is, how do you translate that into a computer game, an interactive medium? Do you make the gags and sketches interactive and let the player play through them, or do you take a concept like the art style and use that as a foundation for your game? The latter, of course, was chosen, and I would assume wisely so, because implementing a gag into a computer game in the way that Monty Python were delivering them would probably have been a bit awkward, especially for that time. But it leaves a bit of a gap, because the only excitement this game provides, potentially, is seeing what art from the TV series and shows and whatever has been used as you progress through the game. And if you are in a position like mine where the art doesn't really sing to you, then the interest in trying to progress further dies out in record time. If I was to come up with some sort of conclusion from a personal point of view, for me this game would be a one and done. I have played it, I have covered it, and I have no intention of playing it again, because it's simple, it's tedious, and it doesn't, for my liking, manage to capture the spirit that was Monty Python. On that note, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, bye bye for now.